Imagine a forest, not a wild, untouched jungle, but the campus of IIT Bombay, right in the middle of one of the world's largest cities. Now ask yourself, does having more species of trees in that forest mean it pulls more carbon out of the atmosphere? That question sits at the heart of something called the biodiversity ecosystem functioning hypothesis. And testing it is exactly what this project does. We measured trees on the IITB campus by hand. Then, we compared what we found against data from 36 eddy covariance towers spread across 6 continents, from Amazonian rainforests to Siberian boreal forests to African savannas. The global side of this project uses a dataset called FluxNet 2015. These towers measure how much carbon dioxide a forest absorbs every single year, a quantity called gross primary productivity or GPP in grams of carbon per square meter. We have 36 sites, 429 site year records, biomes ranging from tropical rainforest down to cropland. And crucially, each site has its own species richness estimate, derived from peer-reviewed regional forest inventories, not a rough average. Every site is ecologically distinct. That matters because earlier, analyses made a shortcut. Assign all tropical forests the same diversity score. We fixed that. Now the local data. Student teams from CM703 Urban Ecology walked the IITB campus and measured 61 unique trees. For each one, 3 girth measurements were taken at chest height using a tape, then averaged. From girth, we compute diameter at breast height, dBH equals girth divided by pi, and from dBH we estimate the tree's above ground biomass using the Brown 1997 allometric equation, a power law that converts trunk size into kilograms of woody carbon. After quality control, removing dead trees and one extreme outlier, we had 62 alive trees. The result is striking. 65% of all stems are under 2 centimeters in diameter. Saplings, a recovering secondary forest, but one tree, just one, with a diameter of 72 centimeters, holds 69% of all the biomass we surveyed. That single individual outweighs the other 61 trees combined. Now for the analysis, we ran 4 levels of statistics, each building on the last. First, simple regressions of GPP against 5 predictors. Species richness explained 75% of global GPP variance. So did rainfall. So did latitude, all significant. But here's the problem. These variables are all correlated with each other. The tropics are warm, wet, and diverse at the same time. So we ran a 4-predictor, multiple regression, log GPP, modeled by log rainfall, temperature, log species richness, and latitude together. This separates the effects. Adjusted R squared, 0.86, and then the key step, a partial regression. We removed the climate signal from both GPP and species richness independently, then plotted what was left. The remaining correlation is the pure biodiversity productivity relationship, with climate fully controlled for. So what did we find? In the multiple regression, rainfall and temperature dominate. Standardized coefficients of 0.49 and 0.46. They set the productivity ceiling globally. Species richness has a positive coefficient, plus 0.07, consistent with the biodiversity hypothesis, but it is not statistically significant after climate is controlled for, at p equals 0.38. That is an honest result, not a failure. At only 36 sites, detecting the biodiversity signal beyond the climate signal requires more data. And IIT Bombay, the gold star on our global plot, sits right on the tropical forest trendline. No urban suppression, no productivity penalty for being inside a city. Its GPP falls slightly below the tropical forest median, but that is explained entirely by Mumbai's 5-month dry season, not pollution or fragmentation. To summarize, water and warmth drive productivity globally. Biodiversity adds a positive signal that is real but difficult to isolate at scale. And the IIT Bombay campus forest, despite being surrounded by a megacity, behaves like a tropical forest should. The next step, an eddy covariance tower on campus. That would replace our estimated GPP with a real continuous measurement and put IITB on the global map, not just plotted against it. Thank you.